Hello students of class 11. Welcome back once again to Indrani ma'am's biology class. In our last class, we have started our fourth chapter, that is Kingdom Animalia. Today also we will continue the same chapter and we will start from the classification of animals, that is how can animals be classified. Animals can be classified on the basis of different fundamental features like level of organization in the body, body symmetry, body plan, nature of coelom, segmentation of the body, nature of skeleton, reproduction and pattern of development, and presence or absence of notochord. First, we will discuss the basis of classification based on the level of organization. First is the cellular level of organization. You know, the cells are not grouped into tissues, but they are loosely aggregated and functions more or less independently. And this type of organization is basically seen in parazoans, that is the members of the phylum Porifera. Second, tissue level. The cell which performs the same function are grouped into a tissue, and different tissues perform different functions, that is the division of labor is seen. Example you can find in Cnidaria. Organ level of organization. The cells are organized into tissues and tissues become joined to form organs, and each organ is specialized for a particular function. Example you can find in Platyhelminthes. And fourth is the organ system level. In this level of organization, what happens? The organs become associated to form the functional system, and each system is concerned with a specific physiological function, as you can find in Annelida, Arthropoda, etc. Okay. Next, the basis of classification is body symmetry. It can be divided into asymmetrical animals and symmetrical animals. So asymmetrical animals are those animals whose body cannot be cut into two identical or symmetrical halves along any vertical plane, as you can find in sponges. And symmetrical animals can be divided. These are those type of animals whose body can be cut into two identical halves along one or more vertical planes passing through the center. So two types of symmetrical animals can be found. One is the radial symmetry, another is the bilateral symmetry. Now, if the animal can be cut into two similar halves along any vertical plane that passes through the center, it is called radially symmetrical. You can give an example of sponges here. And if the animal can be cut into two equal or two similar halves only along one vertical plane, and that plane should pass through the center, that is known as bilaterally symmetrical. You can give example of annelids. Okay. Next, you can have the classification, or you can have the levels of classification of animals based on the nature of coelom. First, you have to know what is coelom. Coelom refers to the body cavity. What is that? That is the space between the body wall and the gut, where all other organs of the body are placed. So it can be divided into true coelom and false coelom. What is true coelom? True coelom, it refers to the body cavity that is formed by the splitting of the mesoderm during embryonic development and is completely lined by mesoderm. And such animals with true coelom are known as eucoelomids. True coelom are of two types. One is enterocoelom, another is schizocoelom. And the coelom, when is absent, as you can find in Platyhelminthes, it becomes obliterated by the parenchyma-like tissues, and such animals are known as acoelomates. Another is the pseudocoelomate. In Aschelminthes, the coelom develops from the blastocele of the embryo, and the coelom is interrupted by the endodermal cells of the gut. Such coelom is known as pseudocoelom, or we can say as the false body cavity. Okay, and in coelenterate also a body cavity is derived from blastocele, and it is the coelenteron. Now again, it can be divided into body plan. Now animals basically show three types of body plan. First is the cell aggregate body plan, blind sac body plan, and tube within tube body plan. So cell aggregate body plan, what happens here in this type, the body of the animal has a number of cells, but they are not grouped into tissues and organs. There is not much distinction among the cells. Example, sponges. In blind sac body plan, the animals have only one opening in their alimentary canal for taking in food and also to remove the undigested matter. Example, Cnidaria, Platyhelminthes, you can give anyone. Next is the tube within tube body plan. The alimentary canal here is a tube with a mouth opening for ingestion and an anal opening for egestion. Okay, and the alimentary canal lies in the coelom or the body cavity that forms the outer tube. You can give an example of Annelida. Okay, now with the sac body plan, there is only one opening to the gut, and with the tube within tube body plan, there are two openings to the gut. You can see. Next, it can be divided or classified on the segmentation of the body. First, what is segmentation? Segmentation means the division of the body into distinct parts which are known as segments. Two types of segments are there. One is the metameric segmentation, another is the non-metameric segmentation. In metameric segmentation, what happens? The external divisions correspond to the internal division. That is, the segmentation will affect both the external and the internal structures. And in non-metameric type of segmentation, the segments are not embryonic in origin but are budded off later. Okay, this is the difference between the metameric and the non-metameric segmentation. Next, based on the body support, it can be classified. The animals can be classified. Now, the skeleton of the body. You know, the skeleton is the supporting framework of the body and it gives shape and protection to the body parts. Two types of skeleton can be found. One is exoskeleton, another is the endoskeleton. Now, what is exoskeleton? It is present on the outer surface of the body. It consists of mainly the non-living materials like chitin, keratin, which is impregnated with silica or calcium. Okay, that is the exoskeleton. And what is the endoskeleton? It lies inside or within the body. It consists of living cells or tissues like the cartilage and the bone, and also the dead cells or the epidermal cells. And these endoskeleton generally arise from the mesoderm layer. Now, exoskeleton, they do not help in the movement or locomotion. You can give an example of exoskeleton like ex example of exoskeleton, like you can give a nail, hair, the hoof, scale, feathers. Okay, an endoskeleton, the structures which are helping in the movement and locomotion like the bones and the cartilage which form the cranium, rib cage, skeleton of the limbs, etc. Okay. Now you can see in a tabulated form the body of the animals can be divided into the levels of organization, symmetry, body plan, nature of coelom, segmentation, nature of skeleton, and presence or absence of notochord. Based on this, it can be classified. Now we are continuing with this. We will know about each portion in details. Now you have to know about the diploblastic and the triploblastic organization. Now, what are the diploblastic? Based on the number of germ layer of the cell in the gastrula, the animals are grouped into these two categories. One is the diploblastic and another is the triploblastic animal. Now, diploblastic animals are those animals who have two germ layers, the ectoderm and the endoderm in their gastrula, like porifera. And triploblastic animals are those who have three germ layers in their gastrula, ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Okay. These are the triploblastic animals. I can give example who are having 3 germ layers. The example is given here. Coelenterate. You can give this example of Coelenterata. Now we will start the phylum Porifera. Phylum Porifera. What are the characteristics of those organisms who are under this phylum? The first and the foremost point is the pore-bearing organisms, plant-like branched animals who are commonly known as the sponges. They are under this phylum Porifera. Okay, they are solitary or colonial or sedentary or sessile. The sedentary or sessile, that is, they are attached to the substratum. Body form will vary. It may be cylindrical, vase-like, cup-shaped. Animals basically here are asymmetrical or radially symmetrical. And the outer layer of the body wall is called pinacoderm. Pinacocytes and porocytes are present. Diploblastic animals, they are diploblastic animals. And even the body wall consists of 2 layers of cells with a mesenchyme in between the two. Now, the sponges have a special characteristic which is known as the canal system, through which water circulates and help in nutrition, excretion and respiration. Water enters the body through a number of minute inhalent apertures called ostia on the surface of the body, and the water moves out of the body through the large terminal exhalent pore which is known as the osculum. Okay, this asexual reproduction here occurs by the process of fragmentation or formation of gametes, and sexual reproduction takes place by the formation of gametes. Animals are hermaphrodite, but cross fertilization occurs. Okay, this you can see the diagram of the sponges. Osculum is present and spicule, these are known as the ostia. Next phylum is Coelenterata. Coelenterata. Okay, they are also known as Cnidaria. C is silent here, you have to pronounce as Cnidaria. Now, what are the characteristics of these organisms? The animals are mostly marine and a few are freshwater. They also may be solitary or colonial or sedentary or free swimming. Radially symmetrical body is present. Tissue level of organization is present. These are diploblastic animals. The endoderm encloses a cavity known as coelenteron, that's why the name, which is helping in nutrition and circulation, and these are known as the gastrovascular cavity. Animals exhibit 2 body forms, zooids, namely polyp and medusa. Polyps are cylindrical and sessile, while medusa are umbrella-like and free swimming. Okay. Alternation of generations or metagenesis is performed here, and they are showing this alternation of generations. An animal reproduces asexually by budding or fission. Sexual reproduction occurs by the formation of gametes. Development, how is it? It is indirect and involves a ciliated free swimming larva. The name of the larva is planula larva, which develops into the polyp. Okay, these are the characteristics of Cnidaria or Coelenterata. Here you can see the cross section of a hydra. It looks like a polyp and a medusa is formed here. These are the examples of those organisms. Next, we will know about the phylum Ctenophora. How are these animals? These animals are commonly known as comb jellies or sea walnut. They are exclusively marine. They have transparent and flat body. They show tissue level of organizations. Animals are diploblastic. Symmetry. How is the symmetry? Biradial symmetrical body. Tentacles are present, but they are 2 in number and they contain the coloblast cells. Animals move by cilia. These are the characteristics of Ctenophora. You can see in the picture Ctenophora. Next, the phylum is Platyhelminthes. Platy means flat and helminth means worm. So all the animals who are flatworms are under this phylum Platyhelminthes because they have a dorsoventrally flattened body. These are the primitive bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic animals. These animals are acylomate and the space between the organs are filled with special mesodermal cells called parenchyma, and they show the organ level of organization. The animals have blind sac body plan with only mouth opening. Mostly the animals are endoparasite while few are free living and parasites also. Some organisms are also parasitic in nature. Flame cells or solenocytes are meant for excretion and osmoregulation. Circulatory and respiratory system are lacking in this platyhelminthes. You have to know the characteristics. You can give some examples of blood fluke, tapeworm. Next phylum is Aschelminthes. How the animals are? These animals are commonly known as roundworms. They have cylindrical body which is circular in outline in cross section, unsegmented cylindrical, and their body tapers at both the ends. They may be free living or parasitic on plants and animals, and some organisms also live in soil rich in organic matter. Bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic animals. And how is their organ level of organization? They show the organ system level of organization, and head is not differentiated at the anterior end, but mouth and cells organs are present in the anterior end. Digestive tract is complete, and the animal show tube within tube body plan. Unisexual and sexually dimorphic. Fertilization is internal. You can give the example of Ascaris. Next phylum is the Annelida. Phylum Annelida. Annulus word. The word annulus means ring. And this phylum includes all the segmented worms that occur in fresh water, sea water, or moist soil. Most of them are free living and burrowing, while a few are parasitic also. How is their body? Soft, elongated, cylindrical, and bilaterally symmetrical. Body is divided into a number of segments called metameres by the ring-like groups called annuli. That's why the name Annelida. Triploblastic, and their body show organ system level of organizations. Animals are eucoelomate, that is they have true coelom, it is chrysocoel. Body is covered by moist cuticle secreted by the underlying epidermis. Animals show cutaneous respiration, that means respiration by the skin, and some aquatic also show branchial or gill respiration. Excretory system includes long coiled tubule called metanephridia that help in osmoregulation also. Development is direct in some and indirect with larval stages in some. Okay, Annelida, these are the characteristics. So many examples are given. You can write 2 examples and along with the characteristics of each phylum. You can give any examples. These are some pictures of Annelida, those organisms who are under the phylum Annelida. Next phylum is the Arthropoda. Arthro means joint and podos means foot. So this is the largest phylum of animal kingdom with animals having jointed appendages for various functions. Their body form varies and it's mathematically segmented. Bilaterally symmetrical animals. They show organ system level of organization. Triploblastic animal. Body wall has a single layered epidermis and a thick chitinous cuticle forming the exoskeleton. As it restricts the growth, it is periodically changed during growth by a process called molting or ecdysis. Okay, and animals here are eucoelomates, and the true body cavity is much reduced, and the space around the viscera is called hemocoel and is filled with a fluid called hemolymph. Digestive system is complete with a foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Respiration occurs by gills in aquatic organisms, by trachea and book lungs in the terrestrial organisms. Open type circulation is found. Excretory organ are green gland and Malpighian tubules. Parthenogenesis is common in certain insects. Development include the larval stages. And these are the some examples of phylum Arthropoda. Next phylum which we'll discuss is the phylum Mollusca. The word mollis means soft. The animals are marine or fresh water and some live in the damp soil. Bilaterally symmetrical body, but symmetry is lost due to some torsion during growth. They have an organ system level of organization, diploblastic animals. Their body is very soft, unsegmented, without jointed appendages. Four parts are present in their body: foot, visceral mass, head, and mantle. The mantle or pallium is thick muscular fold of the body wall which covers the visceral mass laterally and dorsally. The space between the visceral mass and pallium is the mantle cavity or pallial cavity. The digestive, excretory and reproductive system opens into it. The respiratory organs are the gills. At the base of the gills are the olfactory organs called ostradium. The circulatory system is of open type and the excretory system consists of 1 to 6 pairs of kidneys. Development include veligal or glochidium larva. You can give some examples from these pictures. Our next phylum is Echinodermata. Echinus means spine and derma means skin. The animals of this phylum are exclusively marine. How is their body? Body is unsegmented and has various shapes: star-like, disc-like, cylindrical, etc. Radial symmetrical body, triploblastic animal. They show organ system level of organization and all organ system are radially arranged. Singular epidermis is present which covers the dermis. Water vascular system, also called the ambulacral system, is a characteristic feature. The tube feet project from the ambulacral group which help in the process of locomotion. Respiration habit occurs through the skin gills in case of starfish, through the genital parts in brittle star, and through peristromal gills in sea urchin. Nervous system is very primitive and consists of ring-like structures and radial nerves. Definite excretory organs are wanting, and animals are unisexual. External fertilization takes place, and animals can regenerate their lost body parts. Okay, and development includes a ciliated, transparent, bilateral, free swimming larva. These are the characteristics of this phylum. This is the starfish. How is the body? You can see from this picture. Okay, till this much today. We will start from the phylum Hemichordata in our next class. Thank you.